first video of today. We have 12 p.m. and I'm again here in this Warung place. We've ordered again papaya salad. I'm here with my loving friend Michael. Nice Insta story. And so yeah, I don't know what I have to tell you. That's it, bye. Okay, so our lunch for today is over. So now we decided to go to a coffee shop. This crazy guy out here ordered 2 double espressos. What do you have to say to this?
He wanted to get like 2 double espressos and 1 long black, and I can't understand why people drink so much coffee. Like, I mean, if you don't drink coffee too much, you can like have an espresso and you're good. You have a shot. So I don't know.
No, these are yours.
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, Muay Thai for today is over. We did a drilling session and a pet session, and yeah, I have to say I have to work more on my flexibility. I know I said this also many times already, but still I'm working every time on my mobility. Not as much as I should. So future Dominik, if you see this video, train your mobility. And yeah, today we wait, I show you. We put it our legs like this, okay? And then we just turned every time like this, our hip. Bam, 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 bam. So Dominik, for your future self, train this, and I hope in 2 months you are ready. So that's it with this sport session. Still I have to do some push-ups and pull-ups, and then we are done for the day with sport. So let's start. Set 6. We have to push. We have to push. There's nothing to say. Oh, I still have to do 50. So hard. Okay. You saw it. You can't count on Michael. This guy is not here. Never mind. Same ball as yesterday, and we are a little bit in a hurry. So where is this guy? I don't want to start because I think this is disrespectful. Michael, where are you?
What's passing you too? Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to this Bible preach of the day. I have to apologize. So I record this on 31st of May and not on the 30 of May. And I'm a little bit disappointed in myself, I have to say, because I did it on the same day. Of course, I could pretend that I did it on the same day, or I could move this video now to an earlier part of the day, you know, and you wouldn't even notice this. But for me, it's important always to be honest to you, because if I'm not honest to you, I'm not honest to myself, and I don't want to lie to you, and I don't want to lie to me. So, and I want to tell you also why I don't recorded this video yesterday. It was, and I felt really bad for that. I felt really bad for that, because yeah, I was with Michael in my room and we worked on our videos, and then it was around 10 p.m. okay, and yeah, in the next days we'll follow this climb of the volcano. Right now we didn't climb, but we will do it this night. So on the 31st in the night to the 1st June. And yeah, and I was in my room, and after a time I rode with a girl because I saw her in the city, and I was like, hey yo Dominik, you think it's a beautiful girl, speak to her, ride with her, and because there is a time I have to get to know other people again, and if she's a godly woman, then I can only find this out if I speak to her. So I spoke to her, then she messaged me, and yeah, and then I have to say I don't know, felt a little bit back in my old ways. And I was messaging her at 10 or 10:30, like, hey, you want to go out? And when I did go out with her, right before I leave the house, I talked with Jesus, and I was like, Jesus, I'm disappointed in myself, because rather than to read the Bible with you, so with you, Jesus, or with you as the viewer, or with me, myself, I rather go out with a girl at 10:30, at this late night. And I felt in this moment so ashamed, because I was like, I'm always preaching the gospel, go to Jesus and stick to it. Stick in your faith. And it's not about that I didn't lose my faith or something like that, because I did go out with her. We walked a little bit around, and after a while I saw that she's not a girl I would like to continue on. But I have to say, I got tempted by the devil, like, to make out with her, or maybe even go further with her, like I did it in the past, or like I would do it in the past. And yeah, I got tempted, I got tested, and I was like, should I do it? Because I was like, should I do it? And then after a while, because I want to be honest, and after a time I said, hey, you want to go back to my place? And then we chilled at my place. We were already in my bed, but nothing, it sounds now more evil than it actually is, for real, because it was more like the street was really loud, the restaurants were closed, we couldn't sit anywhere. So it was just really a friendly invite of myself that we can go to my place and to chill. For real, I'm not lying. And yeah, and then we laid in my bed, and I was like, and I felt so bad. I felt so bad. I had this feeling in my whole body. Why is this woman now laying on my bed on the first night I met her, And I don't want to say I'm pretty sure that something could have gone on. Maybe if I would make the moves and stuff like this, maybe I think it could work, because we are young, we are in Bali. That something happens here is not that hard, especially when you are open, friendly, communicate good, like me. And yeah, and then I felt bad in this moment. And I was like, okay, no, I can't do it. I can't ask, I can't make a move, because every sin distances you from God. And then I was thinking about, okay, how many sins did I made today? Did I made even a sin, Because at the end I didn't do something wrong, but I still had sometimes thoughts to do something wrong, to be like, no, to be like, you know what, just live in the moment. And then I came back to the realization, no, it's not fair for Jesus, it's not fair for myself, and even it's not fair for my future wife if I would do something. And like I said, I got tempted, and I want to say I got thoughts to fulfill this, or to fall into lust, to fall into sin, to fall into Satan. And at the end, I didn't. And I'm really happy for that. I'm really thankful for that. So, and also I have to say, right before I left the place, I was like, Jesus, please don't let me sin. Please protect me. And yeah, after the date was over, I accompanied her home then, of course, because it was late. And I would never leave a woman out alone, even if it's in Bali, and Bali is a really safe place, but still, as a man, you should always have to protect the wife. So, and yeah, then I was like, okay, I'm happy that nothing happened, but still I felt bad for what I did. But at the end, I didn't do something wrong. I don't know if you can understand me what I say, but I felt more bad about my action that I did go on a date. But the problem here is I have to go on dates to meet other women, to find my woman, to find my wife. So, but I don't think it was that this was the problem. I think the problem was that I had these thoughts, these sinful thoughts. And I was like, yeah, like I said, it would be nice to do something, but I was like, no, that's not the way. That's not the way. And I just want to show you with this video that I'm still on my path, and I'm happy that I resist my urge to do something. And I've always had Jesus in my mind, because I was like, every sin distances you from God, and I don't want to get distance from Jesus. So yeah, and this is something I wanted to tell you, why I didn't upload or I didn't record the video. Of course, the upload will be the same on the same day, but why I didn't record the video last night or during the day, And for myself, I recognized then, okay, Dominik, you have to work more on your faith and focus more on Jesus, because yesterday I focused on woman. What is not wrong? What is not wrong to focus on a woman? Okay, it's important. But I didn't focus yesterday on the Bible first. And this was the problem. This is the reason why I felt bad. And because I put it a wife or a girl about the Holy Spirit or about the Holy Bible. So I've learned for myself then again, doing this lesson, hey Dominik, always first the Bible and then everything else. If you are maybe in the same situation, or if you've been in the same situation, I would be interested what you think of that, what you learned, and I would be happy to hear from you. So yeah, okay, we are starting with Matthew chapter 14, the death of John the Baptist. When Herod Antipas, the ruler of Galilee, heard about Jesus, he said to his advisors, "This must be John the Baptist, raised from the dead. That is why he can do such miracles." For Herod had arrested and imprisoned John as a favor to his wife Herodias, the former wife of Herod's brother Philip. John had been telling Herod, "It is against God's law for you to marry her." Herod wanted to kill John, but he was afraid of a riot because all the people believed John was a prophet. But at a birthday party of Herod, Herodias' daughter performed a dance that greatly pleased him. So he promised with a vow to give her anything she wanted. At her mother's urging, the girl said, "I want the head of John the Baptist on a tray." Then the king regretted what he had said, but because of the vow he had made in front of his guests, he issued the necessary orders. So John was beheaded in the prison, and his head was brought on a tray and given to the girl, who took it to her mother. Later, John's disciples came for his body and buried it. Then they went and told Jesus what happened. So first of all, crazy what happened to John, that they hated him, you know. I don't have words for this because this is, we couldn't imagine this in our time. Of course, this happens in some parts of the world, and I'm really happy that we are not part of the world, and also you. I hope that you are not part of this world or in this place. So, and also, what is here one thing, what I want to say is that the king, I think it's called vote, and we've learned in the other parts that you should never woe, never on the kingdom, never on earth, never on your father. And it's interesting that the king vote and something bad happened. You know, the kill of John, the death of John. So we can also learn of that. Never woe, because something bad could happen. And like we said in the other videos, just say yes or no, believe me or not, but never woe. And it's also because I don't know if Herod, if he understood what John was telling him. Maybe he was ashamed of what John said, but he knew, okay, John is wrong. Because in the law of God, it's normal not to marry the wife of your brother, you know. So I don't know if he killed John out of ego, because he was like, you know, I don't, let me tell you how I want to, or how I live my life. So maybe this was the reason why he got killed, or, but it has to be this. I think he didn't want to hear it from John, you understand, because John was already in prison. And I think he was already in prison, right? Yeah, he was already in prison. And he didn't want to hear this from someone who is already in prison. So yeah. Okay, one of my favorite stories. Jesus feeds 5,000. As soon as Jesus heard the news, he left in a boat to a remote area to be alone. But the crowds heard where he was headed and followed on foot from many towns. Jesus saw the huge crowd. Jesus feeds 5,000. As soon as Jesus heard the news, he left in a boat to a remote area to be alone. But the crowds heard where he was headed and followed on foot from many towns. Jesus saw the huge crowd as he stepped from the boat, and he had compassion on them and healed their sick. Nice. Even still, you know, and this we can also take this as example. Even that still wanted to be alone. He wanted to take time for himself. He wanted to process the death of John, of his friend, of his cousin. I think John was his cousin, or named as cousin. And still in this moment where he felt so sad, he still helped other people, the people who had it worse than him, or also worse. So we can learn from Jesus here again. Put your problems on the second place. Help other people if other people need your help. Be loving to them, and show always love. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. That evening, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the villages and buy food for themselves." But Jesus said, "That is necessary, you feed them." "But we have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish," they answered. "Bring them here," he said. Then he told the people to sit down on the grass. Jesus took the 5 loaves and 2 fish, looked up toward heaven, and blessed them. Then, breaking the loaves into pieces, he gave the bread to the disciples, who distributed it to the people. They all ate so much as they wanted, and afterward, the disciples picked up 12 baskets of leftovers. About 5,000 men were fed that day, in addition to all the women and children. So, it could be also more than 5,000 because it was 5,000 men, and on top women and children. So, let's say it was one man, and every second man one woman, and every woman got one children. So then we would be at 10,000 people. And you know, the first time when I heard this story, I was like, okay, this can't be true. And then in the other disciple stories, I heard it more often, and I was like, okay, it has to be true. And but I didn't have these visuals in front of me, you know. It was so unrealistic to understand what happened there, you know. And I'm really happy about the series Chosen, because I think it's in season 3. I think it's season 3 where where it got showed, got pictured how it did happen. And you know, he was praising into the heaven, Lord, give me enough bread. And they had their how is it called? Loaves? Yeah, I think loaves. Baskets, sorry. And they had their baskets, and the baskets were filled, all of them. And they fed all these people. So crazy, so crazy, so crazy. When I saw it in Chosen, I was like, this is a beautiful story. This shows again how big Jesus is. And also in the other chapter, there we see it again, you know. We should never ask what we eat during the day. We should let us fed by our Lord. And because the birds, they ask themselves also not, sorry, this was such bad English, because the bats don't ask themselves, what will we eat? They got fed by the Lord. And we are more worth than a bird or a animal. So, and in this moment, the Lord fed all these people with bread and fish. We just have to believe in him and to have faith what he's doing. Jesus walks on water. Immediately after this, Jesus insisted that his disciples get back into the boat and cross to the other side of the lake, while he sent the people home. After sending them home, he went up into the hills by himself to pray. Night fell while he was there alone. Meanwhile, the disciples were in trouble far away from land, for a strong wind had risen, and they were fighting heavy waves. About 3 o'clock in the morning, Jesus came toward them walking on the water. When the disciples saw him walking on the water, they were terrified. In their fear, they cried out, "It's a ghost." Of course, I think if it's night, you are on the boat, and then you see someone is walking to you, I think I can understand them why they had fear, because they didn't know it was Jesus, you know. I could understand why they think it's ghost. Maybe they were like they were dreaming, like, okay, what is happening right there? Maybe they got tricked, you know. But yeah, it was Jesus. It was Jesus. But Jesus spoke to them at once. "Don't be afraid," he said. "Take courage, I am here." Then Peter called to him, "Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you, walking on the water." "Yes, come," Jesus said. So Peter went over the side of the boat and walked on the water toward Jesus. But when he saw the strong wind and the waves, he was terrified and began to sink. "Save me, Lord," he shouted. Jesus immediately reached out and grabbed him. "You have so little faith," Jesus said. "Why did you doubt me?" When they climbed back into the boat, the wind stopped. Then the disciples worshipped him. "You really are the Son of God," they exclaimed. After they had crossed the lake, they landed at Gennesaret. When the people recognized Jesus, the news of his arrival spread quickly throughout the whole area. And soon people were bringing all their sick to be healed. They begged him to let the sick touch at least the fringe of his robe, and all who touched him were healed. I think that Jesus can heal people only by touching or let them touching his robe. I think we knew this already. So it's crazy. It's. I would like to know. If it's because his robe is so holy, or because the faith of the people is so big. They are like, okay, I just have to need to touch him. And I'm pretty sure it has to be the faith, because Jesus is always telling us if our faith is big enough, we could move mountains. So it's not about that Jesus has to be there in this moment, it's just our faith. And it's beautiful to see that those people believed so much in him that they only have to touch him, they can be healed. And we can take this for our own life. Just to have so much faith that Jesus is walking with us every day. He can sit here, you know. And we have just to believe, our faith has just to be so big that he is right here with us. So, if we want it and Jesus wants that we need it, we will get it. Okay. This was it with this little Bible session for today. Of course, I will record now the video for today, and this comes then in this new log. But yeah, thanks for listening, and see you then tomorrow. Bye-bye.